Before we attack each other and tear ourselves to shreds like a pack of maniacs, let's just open the sack first and see what's actually in it. It might not even be worth the trouble.
I don't know. What do you think? I'm not sure.
Maybe.
Hi.
Okay, it's worth it.
Hey, I'm Victor Lucas, and you are watching Film Fury, and my buddy Johnny Millennium could not join me for a screening of The Isle of Dogs. And if you say that very quickly, it's Isle of Dogs or I Love Dogs. And I'm shooting this review actually in a dog park, which is very fitting. This is a new movie written and directed by Wes Anderson, the very eccentric and very talented filmmaker that has been making quirky but expertly composed movies for a very long time. And this is another one of these expertly composed movies with beautiful framing and lots of elaborate details. It's all animated, though, and he uses stop-motion animation and some of the coolest action figures you have ever seen. It very much looks like it's a puppet stop-motion movie, but they look like cool toys. And man, did I want some of these toy sets. The puppeteering work is incredible, and there's behind-the-scenes videos on the internet now that you can watch. You can see the people painstakingly putting all kinds of details in there, arching eyebrows. There's toasts that happen with a bunch of scientists, and they clink glasses together. It just looks incredible. All the mouth animations, all of that stuff, and you're just watching it going, how did they do this? How many hours did it take to make this damn thing? And that is in your mind for sure, and it's so elaborate. It kind of echoed some of the same kinds of vibes that I got out of watching the elaborate animation techniques that we saw in the first Lego movie. But this is a much more mature and much more nuanced and a much more, thoughtful and enjoyable picture. This is something that's really going to register with you as you're watching it. It's all about this idea of this corrupt mayor in Japan that decides that dogs are need to be outlawed and ostracized and sent to this island, this trash island, where they are going to live out the rest of their days away from society because he's got all kinds of duplicitous plans. And a little kid that has become his ward named ATARI says, no, you know what? I miss my dog so much. I'm going to go to this Isle of Dogs and I'm going to try to get this dog back. And Wes Anderson, as we all know, has a great history of working with lots of fantastic actors like Edward Norton, like Bill Murray. Jeff Goldblum is in this thing, Bryan Cranston.
We'll find your dog.
Scarlett Johansson. Basically, everybody wants to work with Wes Anderson. And I think after seeing this movie, that's going to be even more the case, because this is an absolutely magnificent picture, and it's so original and so surprising. And I'm not going to reveal anything more about the plot. I want you to discover this movie for yourself. I want you to see it. I also would really implore you to get out into the theater and support this movie. It was supposed to have a wide release, and then the studio said, no, let's test it out in some other markets first and go into limited, and then we'll expand it from there. But this is something that everybody should see. It's not a kid's movie. I will say that. It's not meant for very young children. It's not that it's, violent or gory. There's a little bit of, a little bit of high drama in here and a little bit of animated blood and stuff like that. It's just little kids that have kind of grown up with the fantastic Mr. Fox, which is the other terrific animated flick that Wes Anderson has made, and I saw that a few years ago and still have, fond memories of that movie. I think they will also, naturally gravitate to the Isle of Dogs and love it. But I feel like this might go over the heads of little kids, and it's not as manic and as crazy as a lot of the animated pictures that seem to come out these days, where there's just like an attention grabbing scene or sequence or song and dance number every 2 minutes. It's not like that. There's lots of stillness. There are haikus read throughout this thing. It's a real celebration of Japanese culture and some of the more esoteric elements of Japanese culture, but it's so wonderfully presented and so magnificently produced. And everybody shows up, all of the behind the camera people are, you can clearly see the love and the attention to detail and the care that they put into this, but also all the performances as well. I'll tell you what, Jeff Goldblum as a dog, I would watch hours and hours and hours of that.
Exactly.
Same here.
Words out of my mouth.
So if Netflix is watching and they want to make a new series, make Jeff Goldblum an animated dog somehow, because he's amazing. He's so funny to hear as a dog. And Bill Murray's great in this, too. It's fantastic, and right now it's my favorite movie of 2018. I think it might be one of these dark horse, Shape of Water kind of experiences for a lot of people out there. I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. Great work, Wes Anderson.